October 31st, 2007. My fellow members of the University of Guelph Faculty Association, we are now in the 14th month of negotiating our first collective agreement. How about an update from our chief negotiator?
Friends, colleagues, I'm proud to report at long last that we have made some progress. Yes, it took over 90 hours of face-to-face meetings, but we've done it. We have 7 articles of the collective agreement approved.
How many articles are there?
More than 7, but it's a start. We've signed off on court leave, dues check-off, copies of the agreements and definitions, compassionate leave, joint committee, and academic freedom.
Say that again.
We've now agreed on court leave.
So they've agreed to give time off for jury duty?
Isn't that legally required?
We've agreed on dues check-off.
So they've agreed that people can pay union dues?
On copies of the agreement.
So you've established our right to photocopy?
And on definitions.
Definitions?
Well, some definitions.
What kind of definitions?
We've agreed on a definition of day.
You agreed on a definition of day?
We sure did. Sun up, sundown, day.
So, 14 months of negotiation and you've agreed on what a day is?
Actually, to be honest, 5 out of the 7 articles we agreed on were in the last couple of weeks.
Oh. So how did this happen? 14 months of negotiation to agree on the definition of a day. And by the way, that actually is listed in the minutes of the UGFA's October 31st, 2007 meeting.
So we proudly represent a brief history of 18 months of negotiations, August 2006 to February 2008.
Or how do you not get anything done in the slowest way possible?
In September 2006, shortly after their union was approved, the Faculty Association let the administration know they wanted to begin negotiations on their first collective agreement and started writing their own version of the agreement.
November 8th, 2006. The first face-to-face meeting of the university administration and UGFA. Pleasantries were exchanged and there was discussion on proposed protocols for the negotiations. It was decided that UGFA would be first to present its version of the collective agreement, and then the administration would respond. Of course, since this was the first meeting and neither side had actually written anything yet, both parties decided to knock off early and go get drunk.
This is actually a common way to go about contracting negotiations. One side presents their version of the contract, then the other side responds with their own version. It's a good first step, letting both sides express their opinions and then figuring out where there's common ground.
Now, in this case, the situation was a little bit different because the administration and the faculty had been working together for years and so already had all sorts of agreements set up. Just not a single document that brought it all together.
So the easy method of conducting negotiations would be to start off with the old agreements and then see what needed changing. The UGFA was in favor of this.
The administration did not agree. They wanted to take the opportunity to start from scratch. Start off by defining day, and build the best contract possible from there. Negotiating a first collective agreement is inevitably going to be a long process, but this almost certainly made it longer.
November and December 2006. 3 more meetings, which mostly consisted of back and forth about how the negotiations, once they actually got around to negotiations, would go. They discussed who would be responsible for providing coffee on what day. After 3 meetings like this, the 2 parties realized that since neither side had decided on anything, and since no one had anything to actually negotiate, they should probably stop meeting until someone had something useful to say. It was agreed that by the end of January, the association would provide wording for all potential articles within the collective agreement beginning negotiations. Both sides will meet again February 2007.
February 2007. The weather wasn't nice, and so both sides elected not to leave the house.
March 19th, 2007. The parties finally met, and UGFA presented its much-delayed version of the collective agreement, except for the parts with the money, which are roughly half the the document. Both sides agreed that they should only meet once the administration had had time to look over the proposal and to write their own version of the contract. The administration is known for being a slow reader, so it was decided that the next meeting should be scheduled for 3 months later in June 2007.
June 2007. After 3 months hiatus, the two sides meet again. However, the administration did not have their own version of the contract written, but rather had a long list of questions to ask. UGFA was frustrated, calling the administration's response a scattering of responses with no overall context.
September 2007. Many more meetings. UGFA presented its full proposed collective agreement to the administration, including the parts to do with the money. The administration, for its part, were still working on their version and had been since March. Frustrated with what they saw as a lack of progress, UGFA presented a mandate. The administration must present their full proposed agreement by October 1st, 2007, or UGFA would bring in outside help.
October 1st, 2007. The administration did not have their full proposed agreement, but swore on their mother's grave that they would have it by the end of the month.
October 24th, 2007. True to their word, the administration presented their version of all articles that didn't relate to money. The UGFA remained unimpressed and requested help from a conciliator.
A conciliator is appointed by the Minister of Labor to help facilitate discussions, but can't impose a ruling. A conciliator is required before any legal labor action, such as a strike or lockout, can be taken.
It is also around this time that the two sides had reached agreements on 7 articles, including the definition of day.
It appeared at this point that finally, with some external help from a Ministry of Labor approved conciliator, and with the administration starting to present its side of the story, some real work might actually finally get done, after more than 1 year in negotiation.
End of November 2007. The conciliator arrived, and by now 9 articles had been agreed upon. Some time during this period, the administration also presented its full proposed collective agreement.
February 4th, 2008. After 2 months of negotiation, even with a conciliator present, both sides were getting frustrated. Little progress was being made, and too much back and forth led to UGFA to complain. It appears that when no pressure is applied to the administration, that their attitude is to simply to waste time and back off.
February 13th, 2008. UGFA holds a strike vote and votes 84.5% in favor of strike authorization, giving the power to the union to call strike at a moment's notice.
Negotiations with a mediator present are now scheduled until March 13th, 2008, and neither side can act before then. But there is a chance that on the morning of March 14th, 2008, we could all wake up to a faculty strike.